sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
Absolutely no reason for a 56-year-old man, 54-year-old man at the time, to be hollering at a 19-year-old.
I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
You tried to say that. What you tried to say?
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your ass and get somebody to love you.
Monique warned him, and now she's laughing while his empire burns. Monique begged Shannon Sharpe to stop chasing young girls and warned him right to his face that it would blow up in his face. Fast forward a year and boom, he's facing a $50 million essay lawsuit. Sponsors are backing out and his $100 million media deal is on life support. But here's the twist: instead of standing by him, Monique just roasted him on stage in front of a packed crowd, and the internet can't stop watching. The clip's gone viral. The fallout's getting uglier. And Shannon, he's realizing too late. The person who laughed at the warning is now the punchline. Buckle up, because this isn't just gossip. It's a warning that came true in real time. Shannon Sharpe is facing the biggest scandal of his career, and Monique just poured gasoline on the fire. While he's busy denying a $50 million essay lawsuit filed by a woman younger than his own kids, Monique hit the stage on Cat Williams' Heaven on Earth tour and obliterated him with one jaw-dropping line. Yes, I told that niece Shannon Sharpe, leave the white bees alone. The crowd exploded in laughter. But for Shannon, that hit deep. Because she wasn't just telling jokes, she was dragging out receipts. This wasn't random shade. It was a callback to Club Shay Shay, February 2024, when Monique looked Shannon dead in the eye and told him to stop chasing young women who only want him for money. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. Take your old, and get you an old bee out there that can love you old. She said it then. And now she's saying it again, only this time, it's viral. And the timing couldn't be worse. Shannon Sharpe has just stepped away from First Take. Sponsors are quietly backing off, and his potential $100 million podcast deal is hanging by a thread. Instead of defending him, celebrity friends are backing away. And Monique, she's doing victory laps in heels. The internet split. Some say Monique's keeping it real. Others say she's kicking a man while he's down. But one thing's clear. She warned him, and now it's all coming back full circle. After that explosive moment on stage, the internet lit up, and it didn't take long for fans to pick sides. Some folks are dragging Monique for clowning Shannon Sharpe while he's in the middle of a serious legal battle. Others are giving her props for keeping it real and reminding the world that she tried to warn him. And now, those old Club Shay Shay clips are resurfacing, and they hit real different in hindsight. Back in February 2024, Monique sat across from Shannon and told him plain and simple, "You're 56. Stop chasing women half your age. They don't love you, they love your wallet." She wasn't joking. She was trying to protect him from exactly what's happening right now. But Shannon? He laughed. He brushed it off. And now people are saying he played himself. Still, not everyone thinks Monique was right to use it as a punchline. One fan wrote, "Taking a victory lap while your friend is going through something serious is absolutely insane." But the louder crowd? They're riding with Monique because what she said wasn't a joke. It was a warning, a real one. And now that Shannon's podcast empire, brand deals, and entire reputation are on the line, folks are replaying her words and asking, was she the only one who saw this coming? Whether you love her or hate her, you can't say she lied. What makes this whole mess even crazier is how fast it all flipped. Just months ago, Shannon Sharpe was writing high-hosting viral interviews on Club Shay Shay, going back and forth with Stephen A. on First Take, and closing in on a rumored $100 million podcast deal. But now, headlines aren't about his hustle. They're about a $50 million essay lawsuit from a woman who's reportedly younger than his own children. And here's the kicker. That woman? She allegedly met Shannon at a gym back in 2023 when she was just 19. According to the lawsuit, she's claiming the relationship wasn't as consensual as Shannon says. His team strongly denies the allegations, calling it a setup and insisting it was all mutual between two adults. But in the court of public opinion, things are getting ugly, fast. Shannon's fans are rattled. Sponsors are backing off. And that's a moment. $100 million podcast deal? It's frozen. All of a sudden, every old clip, every joke, every offhand comment from Shannon is under a microscope, including his past on-air stories about women, sex, and power. Now, Monique's warning looks prophetic. Because while she was telling him to slow down and grow up, Shannon was chasing a lifestyle that's now crashing down. The courtroom battle hasn't even started, and yet the damage to his image, his brand, and his legacy is already front-page drama. And, just like that, Club Shay Shay became Club Mayday. Once Monique's comedy clip went viral, it opened the floodgates. Now fans are pulling receipts, and what they're finding is not helping Shannon Sharpe's case. Old interviews, podcast rants, and behind-the-scenes leaks are painting a picture of a man who's been playing with fire for a long time. Let's start with the resurfaced nightcap episode. Shannon randomly snapped mid-show, looked off camera, and yelled, "Shut the F up!" Fans were stunned, not only because of the outburst, but because it showed a side of him people hadn't seen before. Angry, rattled, and unguarded. Then there's the clip where Shannon talks about giving his daughters only $30,000 for their weddings, joking that they can eat fried fish and spaghetti on paper plates. The same man who reportedly offered $10 million to the OnlyFans model suing him can't drop more than 30Ks for his own kid's big day. That comment hit fans hard. One person wrote, "So, he'll spend millions on women he barely knows, but crumbs for his own daughters? Trash." And let's not forget the weird bedroom stories he used to tell on air, including one where he said a woman passed gas during sex and he encouraged it. These clips were once seen as funny or raw. Now, they're just plain gross to a lot of viewers, especially coming from a nearly 60-year-old man caught in a scandal with a teenager. Bottom line, the internet has receipts, and they're stacking up fast. As if the lawsuit itself wasn't messy enough, things got real disturbing once the leaked text messages between Shannon Sharpe and the accuser Gabriella started making rounds online. In those texts, Gabriella made racially charged comments, saying she wanted Shannon to put a big black baby in her. But here's where it gets suspicious. Shannon only leaked her messages, not his replies. That's got fans asking, what is he hiding? Because, let's be real, no 19-year-old is out here randomly saying stuff like that, unless someone fed her that energy. Fans and commentators are now speculating that Shannon might have been the one driving this whole racial fetish dynamic behind closed doors. And when you add the massive age gap and power imbalance into the mix, the situation starts looking even more disturbing. One theory that's gaining traction? Shannon deliberately pursued young, impressionable women because they're easier to manipulate, something Monique literally warned him about a year ago. A 40-year-old woman wouldn't go for that race play mess. One commentator said, but a 19-year-old? She's just repeating what he told her. And if that's true, if Shannon was engaging in fetishized relationships with girls barely out of high school, then this lawsuit isn't just about consent, it's about patterned behavior. This is no longer just a legal issue. It's a full-blown image crisis, one that exposes something much darker beneath the surface. What's wild is that Monique actually tried to save Shannon from himself. Her viral Club Shay Shay moment might be trending now, but back then, it was brushed off like just another joke. She didn't say it to be funny, she said it to warn him. And now that warning is playing out in real time like a script she already wrote. On that February 2024 podcast, Monique looked Shannon in the eye and told him straight up, stop chasing these young girls. They don't love you. They love your money. Get you a woman your own age, someone who can pour into you, not take from you. She even got specific, said he needed an older woman who could cook, rub his feet, and sip cognac with him at night. It wasn't just comedy, it was grown woman wisdom, the kind you don't appreciate until it's too late. But Shannon laughed it off, smiled, moved on. And now, here he is losing brand deals, ducking headlines, and scrambling to save a podcast empire that was once worth over $100 million. Meanwhile, Monique is reminding folks that she tried. She told him what would happen. And when it did, she didn't gloat, she simply repeated herself, this time with the mic in her hand and a room full of people laughing with her, not at him. At this point, even the haters are saying it. Monique was right. As this scandal unfolds, fans are taking a hard look at Shannon Sharpe's long-standing pattern with women, and what they're seeing is raising serious red flags. This isn't about just one young woman. This is about a consistent history of Shannon chasing women way younger than him, often with questionable dynamics. Take that resurfaced story where he bragged about paying for a married woman's divorce just because he felt she was the one. He literally said, I gave her the money to file the divorce because I believed in her. That wasn't romantic, that was control disguised as love. He was investing in someone he could claim, not grow with. Or what about the explicit tales? He shared on air like the one where he got freaky with a woman, she passed gas during sex, and he kept going. These weren't just wild stories. They showed how Shannon turned personal, intimate experiences into public entertainment, often with zero filter or respect. Now, stack that next to Gabriella's accusations and the racial fetishism rumors, and a bigger picture starts forming. It's not just about bad judgment, it's about a disturbing pattern of behavior that's finally catching up with him. Monique, and even guests like Cat Williams, tried to tell him on his own show, this lifestyle ain't built to last. But he didn't listen. Now those patterns have become his downfall, and the receipts are all over the internet. One of the loudest signs that Shannon Sharpe is in real trouble? The silence from his inner circle. The people who used to ride for him, celebrities, podcast guests, industry insiders, are now either saying nothing or subtly backing away. And in Hollywood, silence speaks volumes. Let's be honest, if someone like Stephen A. Smith, LeBron, or even Chad Johnson had come forward and said, "That's not the Shannon I know," it might have shifted the tone. But that hasn't happened. Instead, nobody is putting their name on the line for him. Not publicly. Not even to say, "Let's wait for the facts." That kind of distance? It's intentional. And it's not just friends. Brands are backing off, too. Shannon was in talks for a $100 million media deal, one that included all his podcast shows under the Shay Shay Media umbrella. But now, that deal is reportedly on pause, and the sponsors are nervous. No company wants to be the one tied to a scandal involving a massive lawsuit, leaked race fetish texts, and disturbing age gap allegations. Even worse, fans are saying this lawsuit might just be the final straw. Because for years, people saw the red flags. They heard the wild stories. They watched the jokes get darker. And now, they're realizing maybe this wasn't a good guy caught in a bad situation. Maybe this was a bad situation waiting to explode. And Shannon? He might be realizing it too, just a little too late. Let's talk about what Shannon Sharpe almost had, because this part stings. Right before the lawsuit dropped, Shannon was on the verge of signing a massive $100 million deal. That's right, his podcast empire, Shay Shay Media, was this close to locking in one of the biggest content deals in sports media history. We're talking Club Shay Shay, Nightcap with Chad Johnson, The Bubba Dub Show, Humble Baddies, the whole lineup under one umbrella. Big bag, big legacy. But then, boom, Gabriella's lawsuit hit on April 21st. And just 3 days before that, Front Office Sports had reported that Shannon was expected to sign the deal any moment. Once the lawsuit dropped, silence. Crickets. Negotiations frozen. Now, nobody wants to touch it. Even if Shannon ends up winning the case, the scandal has already poisoned the brand. Sponsors don't want drama. Platforms don't want headlines that say SA in the same sentence as their talent. And Shannon, once the golden boy of post-NFL media, is now a walking PR nightmare. This is what makes Monique's original advice even more tragic. She told him, "Get with someone your age. Protect your name. Stop moving recklessly." He didn't listen, and now he might have lost the biggest opportunity of his life. The lesson? You can grind for decades, but it only takes one scandal to bring it all crashing down, especially when you ignored every warning sign. Here's the cold truth. Even if Shannon Sharpe beats this lawsuit in court, the damage to his public image is already done. In today's world, it's not just about being legally innocent, it's about how people perceive you. And right now, Shannon's name is trending for all the wrong reasons. We've seen the leaked texts, we've heard the audio of him allegedly threatening Gabriella, we've watched the old podcast clips resurface, the freaky stories, the age gap jokes, the red flags no one took seriously until now. So even if a judge throws the case out, his reputation is bruised, maybe permanently. And companies like Disney, who own ESPN, don't play around with public scandals. They don't care if you win in court. They care if you're costing them credibility, viewers, and brand safety. That's why Shannon already stepped back from First Take, and why some believe he may never return to network TV at all. Can he make a comeback? Maybe. Audiences love a good redemption arc. But rebuilding from this will take years, and it starts with accountability, not silence or spin. The saddest part? Shannon was warned, not just by Monique, but by guests like Cat Williams and Lily. Yachty. They told him straight up, this lifestyle will catch up to you. He didn't listen. Now the question isn't, is he guilty? It's, how much has he already lost? And for many fans, that answer is everything. At the heart of this entire scandal is a simple truth. Shannon Sharpe was warned. Monique didn't throw shade out of nowhere, she gave him real talk, right to his face on his own show. She told him to stop chasing youth, stop mistaking attention for affection, and start protecting his legacy. He laughed, he shrugged, he kept going. Now that laughter has turned into headlines. The same podcast empire he built with charisma and hustle is at risk. His name, once associated with power, passion, and punditry, is now entangled in a lawsuit, leaked messages, and a growing wave of public backlash. Monique didn't create this mess. She just called it early. And while people debate whether her stage jokes were too harsh, the truth remains. Everything she warned him about came true. So where does Shannon go from here? That depends. Redemption is possible. Growth is possible. But only if he steps up, owns his choices, and does the hard work of repair not just in court, but in the court of public opinion. Until then, his story stands as a cautionary tale. ignore wisdom, chase image, and eventually the truth catches up. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that subscribe button because we're keeping it real every time.